Okay.
3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, someone fell victim to becoming a domestic violence victim. By the end of my speech today, that person will be joined by another 150 people nationwide. Domestic violence is not a new social issue, so why haven't we found a solution? Here in America, we're very good at reacting to the problem, but we have to be proactive about it. How can we do this? Well, my proposal is to take this large-scale issue and put it into the classroom. In order to help to decrease the amount of domestic violence nationwide, schools K through 12 should implement a policy requiring domestic violence classes. Before I talk about the policy, let's look at the facts. So everyone here in America is affected by domestic violence. Yes, it seems like it's a feminist or just a female issue, but statistics show otherwise. So as you can see, 1 in 4 men are either raped, stalked, or suffer some kind of violent act through their lifetime. Additionally, 1 in 3 adolescent girls are in some kind of abusive dating relationship in their teen years. 1 in 5 women in college are raped. And conclusively, 1 in 5 children live in a home of domestic abuse. That's 15.5 million children per year. These statistics are unbelievable, but the stories that go along with them are heartbreaking. The closest person in my life is my mom, and my mom was actually a victim of domestic violence. She lived in a home with an abusive mother, father, and grandmother. When I was talking to her, she told me about a story when she was 5 years old. She was on her way back from school, very excited to show her grandmother this new painting that she did in her kindergarten class. When she got there, her grandmother stared at her with nothing but a blank expression. My mom at the time had no idea what to do in that situation, so she stood there, waiting for a positive response. But the next thing she knew, she was tumbling down the stairs. Her grandmother had pushed her. This was just one of the many examples of times that my mom lived with abuse with her father, grandmother, and mother. Luckily for my mom, she was able to move out when she was 16 years old, and she was able to get therapy. Unfortunately, a lot of people do not get this luxury. Because of domestic abuse, people are scarred emotionally and psychologically, and they usually turn to drug and alcohol use. And lastly, they are 6 times more likely to commit suicide, according to the Child Domestic Violence Association. So as you can see, this isn't just a women's issue, it's an everyone's issue, so we have to find a solution. So what can we do? By implementing my plan and my policy that starts in kindergarten and progresses through 12th grade, we'll actually be able to teach kids how to react to domestic violence situations and also how to prevent them as well. Before we talk about this though, we're going to talk about why we're starting so early. Why start in kindergarten? Why should children understand domestic violence at that age? Well, let's take the child psychological approach. Every person has brain plasticity, and this plasticity helps people remember things and also helps them learn new information as well. This is actually elevated when they're a child, so it's really important that we teach them these good human behavioral things at such a young age, so as they get older, they'll continue these behaviors as well. All right, now to the policy. First, we will be starting with kindergarten through 2nd graders. The most important thing here is to understand that we have to create a safe space for every child to express their emotions. They'll be doing this either through talking to their teachers or other classmates, and they'll also be journaling as well. That way they don't have to feel as much pressure to tell someone about their issue. They can put it down in writing. Second, we have the 3rd through 5th grade plan. This is surrounded mostly about how we have to understand signs and effects of bullying and harassment. They'll be doing this through, again, group discussions and role play. This way they can take what they're learning in the classroom and also put it into their daily lives in the playground or in a play date. Third, we have the 6th through 8th grade plan. This one focuses on friendships and dating relationships. During this time period, this is when children start to form their bonds that they'll be having for a much longer time period. So through the use of projects, skits, and videos that show a healthy relationship, children can actually start to focus on trying to find those relationships with people around them. Fourth, we have the 9th through 10th grade plan. In this plan, it's focused on seminars about healthy and unhealthy relationships. Like I said before, 1 in 3 adolescent girls are in an abusive relationship, and that needs to end. And by teaching girls and even men what a healthy relationship and what an unhealthy relationship looks like, it's very important that we try to teach them that at that time period. And fifth, we have the 11th through 12th grade plan. So this is primarily focusing on everything that they've been learning since kindergarten. It is a domestic violence plan. So through the use of role play and also identifying situations and how they would resolve them, they'll be able to take everything that they've learned and apply it. And lastly, they'll have to meet with a victim or someone that works with a victim in order to better understand it as well. Instead of just hearing these anecdotes about, oh, this person had this happen to them, when you actually meet someone, it resonates with you so much more than if you just hear about it. So many people have hesitations when it comes to having these prevention plans. A lot of people don't think that they work, and most of the time they don't. But these prevention plans that I've been looking up are focused on adults. And like I said, adults have behavioral patterns that are very hard to break. Whereas with children who are about 5 to 6 years old, you can break these behavioral patterns in a much easier time period. A great example of a place that's actually implemented domestic violence classes is the YWCA in Massachusetts. These are all after-school programs, and they've actually found that they've been able to empower children and teens to be themselves. My program is based off of majority of their after-school programs, but elevated to a next level, since they are more frequent and happen in a K-12 classroom. Alice Gallon, the woman that said this quote up here, is an educator in the California School District and is also a partner in a nonprofit helping with social impact. She quotes, "Many programs are ineffective. However, by giving parents and teachers the tools to help with domestic violence prevention, we are going beyond just giving them anecdotes and bias." This is exactly what my program is trying to go for. We're trying to give tools, give all these children tools to prevent domestic violence to happen, and also how they can get out of these situations as well. In conclusion, everyone deserves to feel safe and empowered in their life. And by implementing my policy, we're doing just that. We can no longer just wait for someone to make this change. We can't just hope that it happens. We cannot let more children, men and women over the United States of America fall victim to domestic violence. We can make a change. We can make this change by implementing this policy. We as a country deserve more than this. We need to take this step forward to build a safer and healthier America. Thank you.
Would your class be like, so I guess what kind of format would your class take? Would it be like a weekly class or a daily class, such as math or science?
It would be a weekly class. Kind of just set up more like for like the kindergarten through 5th grade, that would be a weekly class. As for like 6th and 8th grade, it would be kind of implemented into like the health classes, and then same with high school as well.
Like once it gets into high school, like would it be a separate class or would it be under like health class? It would just be like a topic that's discussed.
It would be a separate class, since you can't just go over that kind of material and just hope that it's just going to be put in a week time period. You need to have that constant reinforcement in order for them to actually learn and apply the content.
Do you think teaching something like this would still be effective if, say, like a child came from a home filled with domestic abuse and like didn't, or like how do you think they would like balance what they're learning with what's actually going on in the real life?
Definitely. There's actually been a study done in California by a group that has actually intervened with children that are in a home of domestic violence, and they've actually decreased PTSD and depression for those children. So they've actually been able to intervene and sometimes get children out of those situations as well. So I think they would still be very productive, and I think they would also help the child understand that they're not alone too, and that these things actually do happen.
Very good. Thank you.